Mayor and Alderman meeting will now begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and online. I want to thank you for your presence at tonight's Board Mayor and Alderman meeting. My name is Ron Williams, the fourth elected mayor of the town of Farragut. We appreciate that each of you has taken your time from your busy schedules to either attend tonight's meeting to see how our town government works. All Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. All board meetings are recorded and can be viewed at a later date. If you're in attendance, and you should be able to pick up a copy of tonight's agenda at the door when you came in tonight. If you were not able to attend tonight, then the agenda is available online or on our website. For those in attendance that would like to speak, please pick up a blue card at the door and write in your name and the agenda number you wish to comment on. There will be also time reserved at the end of the meeting for citizens' comments on non-agenda subjects, which also requires that you fill out a blue card where citizen comments is the time that you wish to speak. On each agenda item, the mayor will ask the town recorder for residents' input. During this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak to the board on that agenda item may do so for up to 3 minutes. After being recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium microphone in order to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient and business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving, assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide common courtesy to everyone. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing the board. At the beginning of your presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address all of your questions to the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor. Do not direct questions to the alderman or staff members. If necessary, the mayor may call on an alderman or staff member concerning your question or your comments. Once you've given your input, please return to your seat so we can continue. We ask that every speaker avoid the use of improper language and profanity or other inappropriate conduct. Speakers should strive to avoid redundancy, and we ask that you stay on topic of the agenda item. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start tonight's meeting with a roll call by our town administrator.
Alderman Burnett. Here. Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here. Looks like we do have a quorum, so we're going to do the pledge to our country's flag, and that will be led tonight by Scott Meyer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any agenda amendments?
No, sir.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, if in favor of approval of the agenda as posted, please say yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show the August 8th, 2024 agenda has been approved as posted. Any amendments to the posted minutes?
No, sir.
No?
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, if in favor of the approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Let the record show the July 25th, 2024 minutes have been approved as posted. Mayor's report. We'll start by thanking all that made the last election a huge success. I want everyone to join me in congratulating the re-election of Alderman Drew Burnett and the election of Alderman Alex Kane. Okay, next, I'm going to turn it over to the Vice Mayor. I think she has a lot to say tonight.
Well, a little bit. Last Vice Mayor report. Yay me. So, a few weeks ago, I received a very nice and supportive email from Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson is a founding member of this amazing town. He also served as an alderman when the town began establishing a path forward based on our founding values. In this email, he asked me this question: what do you think was your greatest accomplishment? My first thought was, I survived. Being an elected official was never something I aspired to until it was asked of me by Ralph McGill, a man I so profoundly respected that I could not say no. I never wore the role of elected official comfortably. To me, the responsibility to this community and its founding principles is so important, so monumentally significant that it required a substantial dedication of time and attention to detail, and I feared I would fall short. This is by far the hardest thing I have ever done, and I've raised 3 fairly unmotivated boys. As we all know, nothing of significance gets done that does not have the support of at least 3 members of this board. To say that I alone accomplished anything is not accurate, but there are a few projects of significance that I can claim I took leadership on. In 2017, I successfully fought for design exception for Union Road from the conventional road design standards to protect the Union Road corridor from being over-engineered. Through a cooperative effort with impacted property owners, the final design for Union Road addressed many of the community's concerns. More importantly, my efforts on Union Road altered and improved how the town handles road design today. In 2017, I pestered Mark Shipley to begin the process of reviewing the town's comprehensive land use plan. This effort included amending several corridors based on public input and correcting the future land use map, as well as updating the land use descriptions. The approval of the mixed-use town center vision plan will bring the review of the comprehensive plan to completion. Add to that the amendments to the zoning ordinances that I proposed in 2022, and we have significantly reduced the density of the future land use map and set up the Planning Commission and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to resist the development of any more multifamily in the town of Farragut. In 2018, I worked with Andover HOA to advocate for their vision of the design of the sidewalk that connected Andover entrance west to Everett Road with a 5-foot sidewalk. 2019, I brought to the board's attention our lack of a plan to deal with aging stormwater infrastructure in our town's right-of-ways. As a result, we are working through a plan to analyze the condition of our stormwater infrastructure and a prioritization plan for maintenance and repairs. It's a running joke among my colleagues that stormwater is my pet project. In 2020, I was a vocal opponent of the Knox County Development Community's effort to gut the protections of the rural area in the Knox County's growth policy plan. In 2024, I was a vocal proponent for Knox County's efforts to update their general plan and amend the growth policy plan to reduce density in the rural area. I capitalized on my well-established and positive relationships with County Commissioners Kim Frazier and John Schoonmaker and Knox County staff to shape Knox County's future land use map to reduce the density in the planned growth area of Choteau, as well as reshaping the over-densified plans for historic Concord area. In addition, I was able to bring attention to the need for a mobility plan in Choteau. While my efforts regarding these projects and initiatives are certainly something I'm proud of, I do not believe these to be my greatest accomplishments. During my tenure, I worked with our town administrator to establish a staff business liaison to assist and advocate for business owners as they begin the build-out process to open a business in town. Small business owners in particular need help understanding what the build-out process entails. Also, I attended many ribbon cuttings and networkings to show support for our small businesses. Additionally, I reorganized the Education Relations Committee, ultimately strengthening the relationship between the schools and the town and bringing students to the table to empower them to take a larger role in our town. I served as an ex officio member of the Farragut High School Education Foundation to better understand the challenges within our high school to support our students. Although impactful, I do not believe these to be my greatest accomplishments either. Over the last 8 years, I have helped a multitude of individuals and neighborhoods through various issues. Most significantly, I reached out to various neighborhoods to educate them on upcoming land use and rezoning efforts so they could effectively advocate for their own concerns. Saddle Ridge, Fox Run, Andover, Sweetbriar, Ridgeland, Farragut View, Baldwin Park, Fox Den, Village Green, Sedgefield, Orchid Grove, Prestwick Place, Chapel Grove, Chapel Point, Waverly Court, Bridgewater, Concord Hills, Saleview, Sheffield, Brass Lantern, Cottages at Price Farm, Park Place, Glen Abbey, Bel Air, and Bridgemore are some of the neighborhoods I have reached out to or assisted in some way. I believe the crux of our responsibility as elected officials is to serve the residents of Farragut and assist them when we can so they can be effective parts of the process. This gets a close second to what I believe to be my greatest accomplishment. As we all know, the town of Farragut is a unique and special place. It did not become unique and special overnight. The town was established by a group of folks who wanted to protect and enhance the residential character of our community through thoughtful planning and zoning. A path forward was charted long ago based on our town's founding values. The founding members contributed to the formation of that path. That path was carefully and thoughtfully crafted. Each successive administration remained faithful to that path, understanding that successful communities, relevant communities, desirable communities capitalize and build upon their strengths and assets. So Eric Johnson, to answer your question, I believe my greatest accomplishment was to internalize the founding values of this great town that you helped establish and build. Every decision I made, great and small, was centered on the values you and the McGills and Betty Dick and the Dorseys and the Simandls and David Rogers fought for and put in place. I stood up to sometimes very horrible, abusive treatment to maintain the vision you all put in place. In closing, I want to briefly thank the staff and our town attorney. David Smoke, there is no doubt that between Mayor Williams and I, we kept you and the entire town staff very busy for the last 8 years. I thank you for your patience and your stamina. Tom Hale, Mark Shipley, Darrell Smith, Sue Stoll, Lauren Cox, Ron Ostreg, Bart Hose, Allison Myers, Bud McKelvey, Jen Hatmaker, Maria Reyes, Carrie Smith, Holly Marlowe, Teresa Ferguson, Michelle Pence, Pam Hall, Wendy Smith, Grayson, and so many others supported me in my efforts along the way in so many different aspects. I appreciate you all being so willing to answer my many questions and provide me information and background when I needed it. Your professionalism, knowledge, and experience is greatly appreciated. You all are, without exception, decent and kind people, and I've enjoyed working with you. To my fellow elected officials with whom I have served on this board over the last 8 years, I truly appreciate your willingness to serve. We've not always seen eye to eye, but for the most part, I've felt heard and respected. Mayor Williams, you and I started this journey together in 2016. I feel like we've complemented each other. We're both engineers by training, very analytical, very pragmatic, and looking to solve problems. It's been an honor to serve as your vice mayor for the last 6 years. During your administration, we've accomplished so many goals the early board members put in place. And finally, to my husband, Jay, you've been my rock, my most stalwart and steadfast supporter. I could not have done this without you encouraging me every step of the way. Thank you all. Christy Vining. I didn't have you on my list. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. We have all appreciated working with you. Your capability of being able to dive into the project is second to none, and I have really enjoyed working with you.
Thank you.
Any other aldermen have anything they want to add?
I have nothing.
I mean, it's been an absolute privilege serving alongside of you. I think very early on we butted heads on things, and what I appreciated the most is that, you know, when the meeting was over, and we still had a friendship, and we worked together, and we, just because we disagreed on some things, we still worked together on other things, and so I always appreciated that about you.
Thank you.
Well, that has been a strong point of this board. All across it, we have disagreed, we have come together, at the end of it, we walked out here as friends, and so that is what I'm looking forward to more of, and we wish you well. Hopefully your next endeavor is as fruitful as this one has been. Okay.
Mayor, can I jump in real quick?
Okay.
Just something I
yes.
wanted to
Yes.
talk. Well, first of all, I was doing a little math, and I've been here 14 years now and had the privilege of serving with 12 different elected officials over those 14 years. And one of the things I can definitely say about Vice Mayor Pavlin is she is always prepared. If you're coming to a meeting, you better have your facts straight, because she will fact check you very quickly, and the staff is always ready for those fact checks that we make sure we have. So I just really, really appreciate your leadership, and your time on the board has been great for us. Yes, we have definitely had to keep on our toes, but we certainly appreciate that. And so one of the things we like to do with all of our elected officials whenever they do leave the board, and we'll actually give this to all of you, is we give you a picture of you and you're in this body whenever you were first elected, when Alderman White came on just a couple of years ago. So I'm going to hand this to you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Hand it to all of you so that you each can take one home
Thank you.
with you.
Oh. I looked a lot younger the first one.
Sad about that. Oh, man.
Okay, tonight we have two ordinances to review and consider. First one is on a second reading of ordinance 24-10, an ordinance to amend the Farragut zoning map for parcel 15402, tax map 130, west of Cotton Eye Joe's from C2 to OD-RE/E. It's 3.1 acres. Cox Universal Group is the applicant.
Good evening, I'm Holly Marlowe. As the mayor said, well, this is the second reading for ordinance 2410, which is an item that involves a request to rezone the property west of the Cotton Eye Joe on Outlet Drive from Regional Commercial C2 to Outlet Drive Regional Entertainment and Employment District. Cox Universal is the applicant. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval for the ordinance at their June 20th meeting, and this board approved the ordinance on first reading at the July 25th meeting. There have been no changes to the ordinance, or to ordinance 2410 since the first reading, and staff recommends approval on second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any resident comments?
No, sir.
None at this one, okay. Board discussion, Vice Mayor,
I have nothing.
Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Alderman White.
Nothing.
I have nothing as well. With discussion closed, with no further amendments suggested, I'll ask the town recorder, in this case, the town administrator, for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett,
Yes.
Alderman Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pavlin,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that on the second reading, ordinance 2410 has been approved by a 5-0 roll call vote on August 8th, 2024 at approximately 6:21 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, second reading by ordinance 24-14, an ordinance of the Town of Farragut, Tennessee, amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 general fund budget, passed by ordinance 2407.
Thank you, Mayor. This is second reading of this budget amendment. One is for the general fund and one is for the capital investment fund. The first one for the general fund is a reorganization that we're doing within the Public Works Department, moving some park maintenance division over to the Parks and Rec Department area to better align with their duties and the mission of the Parks Department. This will, in essence, not be any additional funding, just moving funds from the Public Works Department to the Parks and Recreation Department. So overall, the Public Works Department's budget will go from $3,045,110 to $1,893,919. And the Parks and Recreation Department budget will go from $1,170,505 to $2,321,696. For the Capital Investment Fund, we have an Anchor Park pedestrian crossing project that was budgeted at $230,000 in last year's budget of FY 2024. We did do a design contract last year for $27,600, which left $202,400 in the project for construction. When we received bids, they came back at $262,093.95. So this budget amendment will move the $202,000 from last year's budget to this year's budget, and then we'll also add an additional $65,000 from the CIP fund balance to cover the remaining costs and complete the project. So overall, the CIP expenditures for FY 2025 will be adjusted from $17,630,216 to $17,897,616, leaving a CIP fund balance of $6,948,826. And I recommend approval on second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any resident comments?
No, sir.
None on this one? Okay. Discussion, Alderman White,
None.
Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Vice Mayor.
I got nothing.
I have none as well. Discussion complete. I'll ask Town Administrator for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pavlin,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Alderman Burnett,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show ordinance 24-14 has been approved on the second reading by a 5-0 roll call vote on August 8, 2024 at approximately 6:24 p.m. Business items, it looks like we have no business items tonight on agenda, so we'll move on to citizens' comments portion of our posted agenda.
We have no comments
No
tonight, Mayor.
comments, okay. Then we'll move on to Town Administrator's report.
Mayor, just one big thing to talk about, and this weekend is the Dog Days event going on at Village Green Shopping Center. Steve and his work with the Farragut Business Alliance, they do a great job with this event. We're looking forward to having all the dogs from town out there, as I guess tomorrow night for the dog jumping event, and then all the real competitors coming out Saturday and Sunday. So it should be a great weekend to have a great time at that
It won't
event.
be as blistering hot as it.
Let's hope not. Yes, it looks like it's going to be a good weekend. So,
Yeah.
but that's all I have to report.
Okay, Steve, looks like you're going to have some great weather, so. And next will be Town Attorney's report.
No real report. I would like to thank Vice Mayor Pavlin for her excellent work, always attentive, always on top of the subjects, and easy to work with. I, for one, appreciate the willingness of she and everybody up here to put themselves out there in the public. It's not so easy these days to do this. It's very difficult when people are accusing you of doing things that you haven't done, and you have to spend your time calling people out for making allegations that they can't support and will not support, except by saying it on social media. We're going to have to make some changes in this society if we're going to keep good people willing to do these jobs. There's not a person in the world that wants to be abused for giving of their time. And it's a somewhat of a sad day when we have to even talk about these things, but it's becoming more and more prevalent, and I don't know what to do about it other than to suggest that people go back to some of the old values, tell the truth. And if you don't have anything truthful to say, or you're not sure what you're going to say is true, don't say it. If you have evidence to prove what you're saying, then you have authorities to go to try to get those things taken care of. But people like Vice Mayor Pavlin and the rest of the board members shouldn't have to be exposed to that. It's just not fair, and it's going to hurt our society if good people refuse to run because they don't want to be abused, which is not an unreasonable way to feel. But I want to thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Okay. Time is approximately 6:27 p.m. Without objection, August 8, 2024. Farragut Board and Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.